Okay, so if you're a designer, a writer, any kind of creative professional, AI is probably on your mind. Like, a lot. So today, we're going to break down how you can actually navigate this powerful new force, not just to survive, but to really thrive with it. And it all really boils down to this one huge question, right? Is AI this amazing new creative partner, or is it just becoming a creative crutch? I think that's the tension that every single one of us is feeling right now. And that tension, well, that's what reveals AI's creative paradox. Because this is a tool that can be a massive help to a project, but it can also just as easily harm it. So what we're going to do is build a framework to help you make much smarter, more intentional decisions whenever you use it. All right, first part of the framework. We need to get really clear on the difference between a tool and a decision maker. This is all about knowing where AI's real strengths lie and what it's actually good at. I love how this slide lays it out. Think about it like this. On one side, you've got AI. It is an absolute beast when it comes to speed and just volume. It's your brainstorming partner on steroids, right? It can spit out a million mood boards, explore tons of visual directions, and just blast you through a creative block. But on the other side, that's you. You're the creative director. You have to own the final logo, the brand identity, and the most important part that AI has no clue about, the meaning behind it. And this quote just nails it. AI is here to help you think. It is not here to think for you. See the difference? The second you outsource the actual core thinking, that's it. You've lost creative control. Okay, so that's you working on your own. But what happens when you throw AI into a team project? Yeah, that's where things can get complicated. And that's why setting up some ground rules for your team is honestly non-negotiable. Because we're talking about more than just the final design here. These tools bring up some really deep questions about fairness, about authorship. I mean, if an AI generates the key idea, who gets the credit for it? If you don't have rules for this stuff, you're basically just waiting for team drama to explode. So you've got to get ahead of it. This 4-step AI charter is a great, simple way to get everybody on the same page. First, you map out your whole workflow. Then you decide where AI is okay to use, where it's kind of risky, and where it's just flat out banned. Then you document everything. And finally, you all agree on how you're going to evidence individual work. Look, this isn't about creating a bunch of red tape. It's about keeping things fair and protecting your team's vibe. But even with team rules in place, we're just scratching the surface. Now we need to get into what might be the single most important responsibility we have as designers using these tools. Facing the hidden bias that's baked right into them, and taking full ownership for the ethical result of what we create. And this is a truth we all need to really let sink in. It's so easy to think of technology as being, objective or neutral, but that's a huge, dangerous mistake. As this slide says, AI is not neutral. It's just not possible. So why isn't it neutral? Well, think about what it's trained on. It's trained on the internet, basically. All this human-made content, which means it learns all of our biases too. And in creative work, you see this pop up in some really predictable and frankly damaging ways. It'll overrepresent some groups and completely wipe others off the map. It reinforces tired old stereotypes. And it almost always defaults to a very Western look and feel, even if that's not what you wanted. So what does that mean for you? It means you can't just take an AI image and run with it. No way. You have to be its biggest critic. Before you even think about using something it generates, you have to stop and ask some really hard questions. First up, who is actually in this image? Really look at it. What cultures do you see? What kinds of bodies? What kinds of lives are being shown? And here's the other side of that coin, which is just as important. Who's missing? Whose faces, whose stories, whose entire point of view has been left out of the picture? Because being erased is just as harmful as being misrepresented. And then the last question is about your audience. When you put this image out into the world, who might feel left out? Who might look at this and feel like they just don't exist in the world you're trying to create? When you start asking these questions, you arrive at one simple, unavoidable conclusion. You can't just throw your hands up and say, oh, it was the algorithm. Nope. The responsibility, both ethically and creatively, isn't on the tool. It's on you. You're the gatekeeper. So when you take all of this into account, what's our real value now? In this age of AI, where do designers actually fit in? Okay, let's bring it all together.
Here's how you should think about AI. It's an incredibly powerful assistant, for sure. It can make you think faster, explore more options, but what it can't do is replace your judgment. It can't understand context, and it definitely can't take responsibility for the final outcome. That job, that's always going to be yours.
Look, if you remember just one thing from all of this, let it be this. Your value as a designer is not about speed. It's not about how many options you can generate in an hour. Your real, lasting value is in how well you think, how wisely you choose, and how you can stand behind the decisions that create truly meaningful work. And in the age of AI, trust me, those human skills, they're everything.